MLB opening day is this Thursday. Very exciting, super fun stuff. But we got to talk about some teams. So first things first, I'm going to talk about the Tigers, where they're at. A couple of new additions on both sides of the pitching side and the hitting side. They're bringing Kenta Maeda and Jack Flaherty, as well as a few other guys in the bullpen. They bring back Andrew Chafin, who was a pitcher a couple of years ago. They bring him back, as well as a few other guys. Those are just the big names. But they also have the return of Casey Mize and a fully healthy Tarek Skubal, in theory. Obviously last year he played about a half a season due to the injury. But then Casey Mize finally back, former first overall pick. People forget about Casey Mize. And he looked pretty good in spring training. So hopefully he'll be able to take that and, have a kind of career revival, because he's just been ravaged with injury. And when he wasn't injured, he actually was pretty good in 2021. If you look at his numbers, he was like top 10 in rookie ERA, I want to say, in 2021. And then, he got hurt in 22, didn't pitch the whole rest of that year, and then didn't pitch all of last year. So look, that you're gonna have that in your pitching side. Obviously, you lose Eduardo Rodriguez, so you hope that Kenta Maeda and Jack Flaherty and Mize and Skubal and Reese Olson, hopefully that conglomerate makes up for the loss of Eduardo Rodriguez. New additions in the hitting side. You got Mark Canha, Gio Urshela, and then top prospect Colt Keith, who just got a massive extension. Will be a Tiger for the foreseeable future. They really believe in this guy as your second baseman every day. And my question is basically, are you satisfied with these moves? Because to be honest with you, I kind of wanted them to do a little bit more on the offensive side. Like, Mark Canha's a decent player. Gio Urshela is a decent player. And Colt Keith might be a decent player. I don't know. He could be a total bust. I like that they paid him, because it shows me that they have some level of confidence in him. Probably more so. They seem to have more. Apparently, they have more confidence in him than they do in guys like Green and Torkelson or Carpenter. But this offense last year was ranked 28th in basically every category. I think overall it was 28th, but it was bottom third in every single relevant category on offense. Bottom third in OPS plus, bottom third in OPS, bottom third in batting average, bottom third in runs. It was name the offensive category, they were probably pretty bad. They were top in strikeouts, low in they weren't good offensively. And the offseason consisted of meh. And I'm not saying that there was any one guy that was a complete revival, but we really don't have a third baseman. We have Matt Vierling and Zach McKinstry and things, and Gio Urshela, I guess. I just don't feel all that confident. However, given the fact that this team is in the AL Central, maybe they surprise me. It's one of those things where it could go one of two ways. This could either be an incredibly disappointing season where they finish basically 75 wins, 76 wins, that area. Or they surprise a lot of people and they get 87 wins. Maybe they make the playoffs. Maybe they get to, heck, maybe they go crazy. They get 90 wins. They win the division, host a home playoff game in the wild card. That would be crazy. It would be awesome to see Comerica Park packed day in and day out like it used to be back in, the 2010s and the early 2000s. Or the late 2000s, I should say, not the early 2000s. It was bad. But late 2000s, early 2010s, that was when things were rocking in Comerica. And I'd love to get back to that. But I guess they're putting a lot of stock into young players taking that next step forward. And I don't mock that theory. I don't mock that strategy. I think it could work. But you're putting a lot of eggs in one basket. All right? If a guy goes down, if Colt Keith stinks, right? Who's your backup? Zach McKinstry? He's not great. Andy Ibanez? I don't, maybe. I would have liked to see a few more moves on the offensive side of the ball. That's all. Maybe I'm totally wrong, and maybe they'll go out and go crazy. I think ceiling for this team is winning the division. I think the floor is finishing in third place. So it's not great. Not a great outlook, but I want to move on to a couple of questions I have for some American League teams. So I did 3 for each just because I didn't want to go through every single team because I don't want to sit here for 4 hours. Just 3 random teams that I sort of thought of that I had questions about. So first one, are the Yankees just a disaster waiting to happen? I mean, like, obviously Garrett Cole is going to be down for 1 to 2 months. I don't know when that is retrograded to, but he's going to be down for at least the opening month of this season. Aaron Judge is an injury waiting to happen as far as I'm concerned. I mean, he's not getting any younger. He had obviously that career year where he broke the home run record, MVP season. Then they gave him the massive extension. They bring in Juan Soto, right? So Juan Soto is great. Juan Soto, they're going to have him for just this year, assuming they don't choose to extend him after this season. So they're kind of going all in. So it's not a great look to start, but I do think they're either going to be really, really good or absolutely like mockably like bad for the Yankees, I should say. Not like Oakland A's bad, not like 100 losses bad. Let's not go crazy. But like they could be like 80 some wins, maybe 90 wins, maybe they make the wild card and lose or something. Like I could see that. But I don't know. I can't say that I have a whole lot of trust in the Yankees right now. Maybe I'll be wrong. Speaking of bad, just how bad are the White Sox going to be? And I take great pleasure in this. I hate the White Sox. They're my least favorite team in Major League Baseball. I can't stand the White Sox. I hope they lose 162 games. I hope they go 0-162. That's what I would like. But realistically, obviously, they're going to win some games. And they start opening week against the Tigers. So this could be a very revealing opening series for me for both these teams, for both the White Sox and for the Tigers. Tigers go in and they sweep them. If they just destroy them, then either A, the White Sox are just that bad, or B, the Tigers are a team on the rise, ready to go. But I mean, obviously, they lose Tim Anderson. They lose Dylan Cease. They lose everybody of worth. And they're probably going to sell off more pieces at the trade deadline. This team is a disaster. It's just an utter disaster, and I take great pleasure in it. I really do. I don't think they're. I think they're going to be at 100 loss team, probably in that range. As far as like historic, probably not that bad, but probably bad enough to where it's clear that they're like going to be looking at the draft lottery. So with that, moving along to the Texas Rangers, obviously the reigning World Series champions. Can they get back? Obviously, they bring up Wyatt Langford, who was their draft pick last year. So they draft a guy out of college, and oh yeah, he's ready to play this year. What? That's crazy. And they're a World Series team. Like this Wyatt Langford cat is going to be a stud, apparently, or at least they seem to believe so. And obviously, they still got Seager. They still got Simeon. They still got Adolis. They still got Max Scherzer. They're going to have Jacob deGrom back. Like this is a team that could certainly get back to the World Series. And they didn't even win the division last year, I don't think. I think that was the Rangers or the Astros who won the division. Actually, I don't remember. I don't remember who won the division last year. Either way, I think the Rangers are here to stay. They certainly don't feel like a fluke team. They've been well built, well insulated with vets, with young talent, with great development. So things are looking good for the Texas Rangers. And I would be scared of them if I was an American League West team. And I'm scared of them, and I'm not even an American League West fan. So moving along to the NL. I realize that all these are related to NL West teams. I apologize to any other NL teams. I just either don't care about you or don't have a question about you. First one is, are the Padres going to bounce back, or are they just going to go back to being mid? It's kind of weird. They lose Juan Soto, but they bring in Dylan Cease, and they lose Blake Snell to the Giants. So I don't know. It's like, are they just going to finally put it together this year? They have a new manager, I believe. I want to believe in the Padres. For Seth's sake, for our good friend Seth, we need him to have a fun summer, have a good baseball team to follow, get into it, have some fun. and I just don't want them to be like last year. I really don't, but I just got a feeling they will be. Like, not so bad that you just like completely turn them off, but like bad enough to where you're just like, I got nothing. I can't feel anything towards this team. So yeah, I don't know. I'm willing to say that they'll probably just end up being mid, but I'll be rooting for them to have a bounce back and get into playoff contention or even division contention, which we'll get into that because the very next team I got to talk about is the Dodgers, and they're just World Series or bust, right? I mean, like there's no getting around it. You bring in Ohtani, you bring in Yamamoto, you bring in the ghost of Babe Ruth, you bring in Jackie Robinson's ghost, you bring in every single great baseball player ever. And yeah, it's World Series or bust. I'm sorry. Like, first of all, your 2020 World Series, already a huge asterisk on that. Now, I'm not saying you need to apologize for it. Don't apologize for it. It's a World Series title. It looks the same. They all the World Series trophies look the same in a case, regardless of how many games you were played. But I think they do want that legitimizing World Series trophy. I think they do. It's similar to me in a weird way because these teams are kind of rivals. It's similar to me to the Astros, where 2017 was totally, marred by the cheating and science, all that stuff, and just becoming the villains. And then they go out and they win a World Series in 2022. So I think this is something where they want to just get over that hump again. They can't lose in the division round to a division opponent again. They just can't. It's funny because they've done it to every single division. They did it to the Giants. They lose to the Giants. Then they lose to the Padres, and then last year they lose to the Diamondbacks. It's like you can't do this again. You just can't. It can't keep happening. It just can't. Don't let it happen, please. Actually, did they lose to the Padres? Or I know they lost to the Padres. Did they lose to the Giants? Actually, I don't think they did lose to the Giants. I think right. Either way, they lost to the Padres, and they definitely lost to the Diamondbacks. If you could not lose to your divisional opponent, just make the World Series. For Shohei's sake, I want them to be playing meaningful games in October. So don't just be completely terrible, which I don't think is going to happen, but actually make the World Series. Because if they do, I don't know if I'll be rooting for them relative. It depends on who they're playing, but it'll be hard not to feel good for Shohei if he can win a World Series in an actual Los Angeles team, playing for an actual baseball team that actually cares. How many times can I say actually and more in the next 30 seconds? Actually, we're going to move on to the next team, which is the Diamondbacks, another NL West team, because very young team, make the World Series last year, pretty much a darling team. I really like the Diamondbacks. They go out, they get Eduardo Rodriguez, who, I mean, we'll see if he can, if he can have a similar season to that he had last year, where he was one of the best pitchers in the American League. I would know. He played for the Tigers. I think he's certainly going to be a well addition to that team. But I hope they're just not a flash in the pan. I really don't think they are. I like Jackson Merrill. Merrill Kelly. Who is Jackson Merrill? I don't know what. I just had a moment where I just made up a player. Meanwhile, the Red Wings just went down 1-0 early in the second period, so that's fantastic. But why did I think of Merrill Kelly? They have Merrill Kelly. They have Corbin Carroll. They have oh my gosh, what is his name? I can't think of some of the names of the guys, but they have guys, right? They have a lot of players. They have the pedigree, I think, to make the World Series again. So I hope that they're not a flash in the pan team. Certainly will be rooting for them out in the NL West. Hey there, what you just watched was actually a clip from a larger show that we do every Tuesday night. What are you doing Tuesday night? Go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the like button so that you don't miss out on any more of our weekly shows every single Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hope to see you there.